Hey, you're about to watch a sick interview coming up with a guest that I've brought on, and I'm just going to kind of let them do their thing. I'm going to let them do their thing. So I hope you can enjoy this. Just grab a notebook. Make sure you grab a notebook and a pen so that you can take notes. I'm not the one sharing stuff here. This is them. So let them do their business with you and coach you into something relating to marketing and teach you something new. You can learn from people from all different industries. So also hit the subscribe button and then hit a bell. The bell should pop up after you hit subscribe. That would just help me bring the subscriber number up. You know, I love that. And then it'll also notify you whenever new videos go live or new interviews like this go live. So make sure you do that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, we're recording. Hey, so we've got Danavir Sarria. Did I pronounce it right?
Almost there, but yeah.
Almost. Shoot. All right. Well, pronounce it right for us.
Danavir Sarria. Yeah.
Danavir Sarria. All right, got it. So he is in charge of Supply Drop, which is an agency. Can you tell us a bit about what you do and what what your day-to-day looks like? Maybe start like how you got to where you are, and then go into what you're doing now. Does that work?
Got it. Cool. Yeah. I'll just start from the beginning then. Well, I've been a digital marketer, direct response marketer for, I don't know, like 11 or 12 years now. I was 16 years old when I got started with my, I originally I got interested in fitness. And then I learned about this guy named Craig Ballantyne who said you can make 6 figures online selling info products, like workout programs online. And I was like, oh, I could do that same thing too. And then that's when I just started to go into learning about digital marketing. Ended up getting my first client when I was 16 years old. I was a street magician on a YouTuber. And then from there on, it was just straight, like I went hardcore into the whole internet marketing world of, Russell Brunson, Frank Kern, Eben Pagan, Mike Filsaime, like all these are hardcore internet marketers that everyone makes fun of. Those were my gurus when I was, growing up in digital marketing. And I spent years doing that primarily as a freelance copywriter. While trying to do my own, info product businesses on the side, none of them worked. Eventually one did. I would say like in 2016, I started one called Copy Monk, which is I was teaching copywriting to other copywriters. That one did work, but I ended up hating it. I'm just not good with selling. Not that I'm not good at it. I am good at it, but I don't like selling, like make money, make 6 figures in your underwear, writing stuff on the internet. Like I didn't like that stuff. So eventually what I did like was e-commerce. And I never did any e-commerce before this, besides selling t-shirts once at my school. But what happened was that I started an apparel brand called Stunt Double. It completely failed after 2 years. Or like 18 months around there, completely failed. And I decided, you know what? I know all this marketing stuff. I want to stay in e-commerce. What do? I start an email marketing agency for e-commerce brands, which is what I do now. Back when I started it, it was called Slice and Dice. I then rebranded it to Supply Drop. And for the past, I don't know, like 3 years now, I've been 100% in the world of e-commerce, doing primarily email marketing for brands like Kettle and Fire, Verb Energy, Lensable, Fangoria, a bunch of 6 and 7 and even 8-figure e-commerce brands. And now, which is what I do right now, and how my day-to-day looks like, it's a little bit, at least right now, it's a little bit, basic. It's just like, just get up and do the morning stuff you always do. And then ideally getting the biggest stuff done first, which for me at the moment is anything leading to do like lead generation, like, hey, like, get the Facebook posts done, Twitter posts done, getting, scheduling any calls I need and all that kind of stuff. And then the rest of the day is just working on client work, as well as, because I also run a men's blog on the side that I'm using to build a direct consumer brand in hopefully 18 months from now. And so I do that. That takes about 4 hours a week. And then the rest of the time is basically on Supply Drop.
That's sweet. And I love how you started with Russell Brunson and Frank Kern, because that's kind of where I started, and Dan Kennedy and all those kinds of guys. So that's really cool. All right. Well, how how has running that agency been compared to, like, would you say that foundation that you had way back in the day, that all the people that you hate, that people love to hate on, prepared you in a way for this agency to actually make changes for these big old companies like Kettle and Fire? I was walking through, I think it was Whole Foods the other day, and I was like, wait a sec, I've seen
Yeah.
this somewhere. And I was like, man, that's awesome. So, can you kind of walk us through how those early days really helped propel you to do what you do today, and what foundation those laid for you?
Yeah, well, it's huge, right? But although it's a little bit it's you have to focus on the principles rather than what they teach, because a lot of those guys, they teach specifically within the context of info products. But once you go into e-commerce, you realize a lot of those things are not compatible with each other, but the principles still are. So when it comes to, like, for example, whenever I'm doing emails for clients and stuff, uh, most a lot of direct consumer brands, they all focus on the visuals and stuff, which do matter, but a lot of them do not like think about positioning. They don't think about offers. They don't think about, how, even like small things like using the word you instead of we and stuff like that. So when it comes to like the principles foundation of direct response marketing, like learning from, like, say in direct consumer, like everyone's looking at, what Harry's is doing or what Dollar Shave Club did and all that stuff. And for me, I don't know what they're doing. Like, forget them. What I'm looking at is OxyClean. I'm looking at, Beachbody. I'm looking at those guys, because like Proactive made literally over $1 billion on late night TV. So they know what they're doing. And that was, by the way, Dan Kennedy did the Proactive one with Jessica Simpson and stuff. And so that's what I'm looking at. And and everything that they do there, I put it into email marketing within the context of direct consumer, because, visuals still matter and all that kind of stuff. But like, when it comes to clients, like they want me to give them a certain thing. Like they want like the most, beautiful emails and stuff like that. So I give it to them. But when I'm giving it to them, I'm making sure I have those, like, direct response elements. Like today, I just posted on Twitter and Facebook how one of the things I do is always put a guarantee, or at least use the guarantee, because a lot of direct consumer brands, they never, like, they have the guarantee, like if you, like in the smallest link in like the furthest reaches of their site, they have some type of 30-day guarantee, but no one ever talks about it. And in direct response, it's literally one of the most important things you can ever promote to your audience. And so that's an example of one of the things I do with clients. Always have a guarantee, put it there somewhere, because it's literally that important.
Right. So what got you into copywriting? Like, what does it for you? What makes copywriting the thing you love so much?
Well, originally I got into copywriting because, again, in the info product space, it is the info product business, like online courses, all expertise businesses, basically expert businesses. It is a copywriting business. All of those things require hardcore copywriting. Like if you sell like a supplement, all you need to really show is like the nutrition facts, and you can kind of sell the supplement. But with a online course, you can't. You have to like tell like really deep, like 10, 20, 30 page long stories with offers and all this persuasion elements to sell these courses. So because I got into info products as my intro to digital marketing, it was all copywriting. That's how I got into it. Now, so like my first client, it was an email marketing client. I had no idea what copywriting was. He just told me email was easy, and I was like, okay, I'll learn it. And that's how I got into it. And I mean, there was a little point in time, a little bit after that, where I was like, I was gonna be a media buyer. And looking back, I should have 100% have become a media buyer, but I didn't, obviously. And the reason why I didn't, because I remember looking at Facebook Ads Manager, and just thinking like, man, this is kind of boring. Just looking at all these numbers, and I hate. For me, I'm more on the creative side of things. Like I hate it when technology or algorithms and stuff like that, they confine me to my thing. But with the copywriting, I can literally get a Google Doc, and it's literally a blank page, and I could just mentally masturbate about all the things I could do and then write it on the page. And that's why I ended up just choosing the copywriting path. And also because, one more thing, this is interesting too. There's this other internet marketer called John Benson. He said at one point, like, copywriting is the oxygen of your business. And obviously it's more relevant in the info product space. But when I heard that, that's when I was like, okay, copywriting, we'll do that. Wrong move, but I ended up going with it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Like media buying, I saw the Facebook ads manager too when I was growing up. And I tried to do some Facebook ads. And I think I got one sale out of like 100 clicks one time. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And but that was like years ago. And it was hilarious. But I was like, this is kind of boring. And but everyone's into it now. And they're into it for a good reason, because it is rewarding. It is rewarding. So are you able to talk a little bit about direct response copywriting?
Sure.
Just go into it. Maybe start with what is direct response, because I know that's an older term. I used it in a job interview, I don't know, a while ago. And the guy who was interviewing me, he was like, I haven't heard that term in a long time. Like, that's an old one. And so can you go into what that is and then just talk about what makes good copywriting?
Yeah. So it's funny you say that about the guy telling you it's old one, because it's like one of like these things that almost everyone in direct response space knows, and copywriting knows that it's like one of like the most foundational things in business, yet no one really actually knows what it is. All direct response really means, like the actual factual term of it is that it has a call to action. If it has a call to action, doesn't matter if it's to buy or to sign up or to, click here and now to read more, whatever, that's a call to action. That's direct response. That's all really what it means. And it can go in regardless of whatever medium, online, offline, doesn't matter what you sell, it's all direct response. And so almost everything you see in the e-commerce space is direct response, but no one actually thinks of it that way. That's the thing. And because of that, they get it's kind of like skewed of how they make decisions on what should work and what doesn't. So, but that's really all that means to it. And when it comes to direct response copywriting specifically, all that means is that it's copywriting, it's words that get you to take an action. Okay. And so this is why, again, like I said earlier, it kind of skews the way people see copywriting, especially in e-commerce, because they like to use like clever wording and stuff like that, or they like to sound like young, hip, and cool, and all these kind of things, like funny or whatever. And none of that actually matters. In direct response copywriting, the whole point is to get someone to read, to pay attention, to be interested, and then to actually make some type of action. And so that's really what direct response copywriting really is.
Yeah, sweet. That was a perfect way to sum it up too. So when it comes to copywriting, what makes good copywriting in an ad versus an email? What are the core foundational pieces that you have to have effective copywriting in maybe each of those things? Because I know you specialize in each of those things. Can you go into that?
Sure. Well, the principles are the exact same thing, right? Again, doesn't matter what medium you're using direct response in, it's all the exact same. Now the difference there is differences in the format they use in each one. Like for example, in email, you could go a bit longer. You could be more personal. You can add more details to it. While with advertising, again, it kind of depends whatever the ad is. Like say if it's Facebook ads. First of all, there's a difference between the body copy, like the actual text is on a Facebook ad, versus the text that's on the ad, whether it's an image or video, right? Like, and how you decide to go about that. Like, it completely depends. Like, you could go the Harmon Brothers route, which is like, 2 to 4 minute video ads is like straight infomercial type of copy. So it's a lot of copy. Or you can go like the super, crisp, here's the image, the picture, says 20% off, has these three benefits, go buy now. You could do that in media buying and Facebook ads and stuff like that. And then again, emails more longer form, more personable. Is a lot more because you can go. It's easier to target specific types of people, and because these people know you and like you and trust you, and they're interested in the topic and all that kind of stuff, you can do. You can have more content in there basically when it comes to emails. But then the rest of it just comes down to the actual format. Email, you have subject lines, you have leads, you have whatever you're pivoting to, the actual call to action, stuff like that. While media buying and Facebook ads and stuff like that, it's I would say it's more traditional, direct response, more infomercial. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If someone wanted to get into it, what would they have to learn first if they wanted to start for email marketing? They were like, hey, let's figure out how to write good copy for emails. How do they start to learn that?
Yeah, well, the good thing about email marketing or email copywriting is that it's super easy. Like me having my background in the info product direct response copywriting space, once I made the move to e-commerce, and now I'm only actually getting it, and now I'm realizing it's like the easiest thing in the world. Like you're on, like if you know direct response copywriting, like for real, like email marketing, email copywriting in e-commerce is like child's play. It's nothing. All you have to do really, like at this point, what I do, I kind of thrown away most of what I've known about direct response copywriting, and at this point, all I do is literally build a swipe file, which means sign up to a bunch of email lists. You know, I sign up to the Ridge, right? And I sign up to a bunch of other places too. Um, and all you're doing, like, take their subject lines, take their copy, and just do it for yourself. The only difference, and this is the important part, right? And this is, I think David Ogilvy said this, like, what you say is more important than how you say it. That's a David Ogilvy quote. And a lot of e-commerce brands, they focus on how they say things, like the clever stuff and whatever. I don't even care about that at this point anymore. What I care about is what are you saying. So, like for example, it's not that you have an offer, is what offer are you selling, what are, like, how deep does it go, what's the angle of the offer, and then I take those and kind of like plug it in almost like templates based on whatever everyone else is saying. So a quick example off the top of my head, and it's probably going to be a sucky one, but whatever. It's like, say for example, there's a subject line that just says, hey, get 20% off, right? Well, that could be used in a bunch of ways. It could be, hey, get 30% off, or hey, get free shipping, or hey, get 30% off plus free shipping, and stuff like that. That's the way that I kind of like see it. But yeah, like when it comes to learning that kind of stuff for email marketing, again, it's super simple. But you have to focus on what it is you're selling and the angle you're selling it. But in terms of like general direct response copywriting, then it gets a little bit more complicated. I used to have this, like, I in my old info product business, it was called Copy Monk. I had something I called the Copy Monk Challenge, and which is how I learned direct response copywriting in 6 months, but the challenge is for 90 days. And it's hardcore. It's what you're basically doing is you're reading hopefully 4 books. I got to remember which one they were. It was Great Leads, Breakthrough Advertising, Ogilvy on Advertising, and what was the last one? I don't even remember. Oh, Joe Sugarman's The Adweek Copywriting Handbook. You would read one each week, like fast, for 12 weeks. So by the time you're 9 days, you read each one 3 times. You're also watching an infomercial a day. Doesn't matter what it is, like the old school infomercials, OxyClean, Beachbody, Proactive, all those. And then also you are writing something every day. In this case, email marketing, you will get an email and just get the product, see you can have a different angle to it, and then just write a new subject line and a new new body copy and new call to action, stuff like that. For emails, super basic. And then you do that, all those 3 things for 90 days. And then if you actually do it, you'll learn everything you need to know about direct response copywriting. And that works for all different things. And the only thing I can add to that is, if, like, say you're media buying, you want to learn direct response copy for media buying, then the third step, where you are writing copy every day, you do it specific to ads. So you look at what other brands are doing with their ads, and then you do your version. If you're an email marketer, you do the same thing, but for email, and then so on and so forth, regardless of whatever medium you're actually using.
That's awesome. That's really great. I had one question. Oh yeah. So oh no, I lost it. I'll have to ask you again after I remember it. The second question I was going to ask is, how important is design to copy in emails? So when I first got into email marketing, I was surprised when I started looking at the common e-com emails. I was like, there's so much design in these. There's like, the way I learned it from like Frank Kern, Dan Kennedy, it's straight up copy. There's no design. You might have one photo. So where did that shift take place, if it did? Or is it just a new spin on the same old skill set, the same old tactics for good copywriting and email design?
Yeah. It's a hard question. I think the thing is that, so visuals are important. The way that a lot of direct consumer brands do it, I think they go a little bit too overboard with it, particularly in functional businesses like supplements and skincare and stuff like that. So the way I think of it is that they are important, but the way you have to think about it is completely different from the way direct consumer brands do it. A lot of direct consumer brands, like I literally have clients who tell me, "Hey, we need to make our emails look like this to, quote unquote, protect our brand." And that is obviously the worst possible way you can actually explain it. What you really want to do is use visuals to tell the story in ways that text cannot do it by itself. Like, for example, I have a client right now called Haven Athletic. They sell a $180 gym bag. And the difference between that gym bag versus a regular gym bag is that it stands up straight, has all these different like filing compartments, so you can have specific stuff within each compartment, super organized, super easy to pick out your stuff. While a regular gym bag is like it's like a bag. It's just, boom, just flops to the floor. You can put whatever, and it's like they even call it like the black hole. Like you put stuff in there, and like you never find it again. So what we did there when it came to it of using visuals for that email is that we start out the email saying, "This is what the regular gym bag looks like." Sidebar. And this is what you get when you get the Haven Athletic gym bag. And that's the kind of stuff, that's how you want to use visuals. Now, if you're in a category like a lifestyle category, like say like Ridge Wallets is it's wallets, that's a little bit different because all you can really demonstrate is that it's a thin wallet. But because it's lifestyle, the identity of it, at that point, now you know for a fact that you need to show lifestyle images to show how it's like, or what your life would look like with your particular product. And then that's, if you come at it from that perspective, then all of a sudden the way you think about just email marketing in general changes. It's not about what looks nice anymore. It's about what positions your brand well. So I'll give you a third example of this because it is important. The higher price your product goes, like from premium to luxury, the more important visuals matter, because for you to be luxury, you have to look luxury. And so that's the kind of, like, you want to look at visuals like a psychological play, not just this thing for you to have a nice brand. That literally means nothing. Again, my clients, that's all they care about. So I give it to them, but when I'm giving them to them, I'm making sure that, okay, this is what it's for. It's not just because you told me to, right? So yeah.
So it's using the brand to help with the copywriting, and it's not using the copywriting to help with the branding. It's the copywriting that matters most, or the story that you're telling that matters more than the branding. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
The brand, because that's the thing. The way I look at branding, again, like you ask 100 people what branding is, and they'll give you 100 different answers. And I actually hate that. I hate that so much because at that point, like anything can be branding, which means nothing is branding. But the way I look at branding is just an extension of positioning. So if you are, I don't know, the world's first ketchup, that is the brand. And all you're doing when it comes to branding is that now you're adding that positioning statement, and now you're adding additional layers to it, like visual layers and stuff to show that positioning statement. And so when someone gives me, this is particular brand, and they tell me they want to protect it, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever, we'll protect it, but what's your USP? And then what's the before of people's lives before the product, what's the after? So that's the way, again, like you said, like it's a story. That is ultimately what you're trying to sell. It's not just, it's not so much just copywriting, because sometimes sometimes you don't need much copy, or sometimes it could be very, very basic copy. Like if you're a deadline, like Labor Day just passed, all you need to do is say, hey, it's Labor Day, get 20% off, here's your coupon, that's it, right? But if it's another type of email where you have to sell like a middle of the funnel content, like what's the difference between our brand versus everyone else's brand, then that way copy matters more because you need more copy to actually sell the idea. And so as long as you are positioning your brand the way it's supposed to be, then you are doing branding, basically.
That's cool. So it seems like the focus on branding is kind of the same root of the problem that you had described earlier, which is the focusing on how you say something rather than what you're saying too much. So can you dive into more common mistakes that D2C brands might be totally messing up on that you see on the day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So one is the difference between functional and lifestyle products. Functional products are stuff like supplements, skincare. Like they have it's like a concrete before and after problem and solution, right? And those type of categories you want to be, not that you have to go hardcore with copy, but you do need to explain more to sell the product, right? Because if I have a supplement, right, and I have a bottle of protein powder and I show you my bottle, it could be the world's prettiest bottle of protein powder, but there's nothing in that picture that's going to tell me enough that I need to make a purchasing decision. But if I'm selling a t-shirt, right, then you actually don't really need much copy at all to sell a t-shirt. All you need is like someone hot wearing that t-shirt, and you do that and you're like, okay, that's going to be me when I wear that t-shirt. And that's what lifestyle is. Okay. And so a lot of brands, they get mixed up. Well, actually more mixed up on the lifestyle things, like functional products that sell like just as like they would like a lifestyle product. And that's definitely a huge problem, especially in competitive categories. Like again, supplements, great category to be in, but man, you need to have a strong differentiator and you need to be able to sell it, right? Like what happens if everyone's selling whey and then you're the first one to sell whey protein and you're the first one to sell pea protein, but all you do is say, hey, check out our pea protein, and you say nothing about the pea protein. Like it makes absolutely zero sense. But if I show you two different types of t-shirts and one looks a certain way and the other one looks another way, well, then that's easy. I just got to show you the two t-shirts and there you go. So that's definitely one thing. Another thing is the again, when it comes to visuals, being way too hardcore when it comes to visuals. Like I literally have clients who they straight up basically pay me for graphic design at this point. Like it's so little copy and so little stuff. Like I literally had clients who tell me, I literally lost a client right now. It was an 8-figure client where they were like, we only do 2-sentence emails, like literally 2 sentences. And me as a direct response marketer, I was like, bro, you got to give me at least 4 sentences, right? Like this is not going to work out. And I tried doing it. I remember they when we sent it for approval, our emails, they literally just slashed everything and they just stopped like working with us basically like that because they did not want more than 2 sentences straight up. And they were in a functional category. They were selling health bars. So it was whatever. So, and that's,
wow.
a lot of direct consumer brands are like that. And so at this point, it's almost like a graphic design service at this point when it comes to clients. And so they go a little bit too far. And so obviously the solution to that is, again, worry more about the story. What is it that you're trying to say? And whatever it is that you need to do to say it, to tell that story, do it. And a lot of times you do need more copy. It doesn't have to be like 500 words or anything, but if you're writing 2 sentences, you probably need, 4, 6, 8 sentences to at least say something significant, and then use visuals, whatever you want. And also becomes when it comes to email deliverability and whatever, like you don't want to be 100% image based either. But a lot of clients, they want it like that. So, don't blame me if you end up in a spam folder. But that's a lot of things that happens a lot in the e-commerce space. And I guess another one in email would be creative, even though now I get more why a lot of brands make the way that they view email creative to be. 2 things I've learned is a lot of e-commerce brands suck when it comes to email copywriting specifically, because they just use the same old stuff, which is what I do a lot of it now. Because here's the second part of that is they just don't send enough emails, period. Okay. And so if like, obviously I do email marketing as a service. So when clients come to me, they need email. If they didn't email, they wouldn't come to me in the first place. So I always see whatever the stuff that they don't have. And all the time they're like sending like one email a week when they should be sending two or three. They have maybe two or three flows when they should be having like 10 plus flows, right? They don't have all that stuff. And so if you're in that situation, then all of a sudden, even the most like basic things is better than nothing. Like you're only sending one email a week, sending two or three average emails every week is going to make you a lot more money. And then once you have that, then you can worry about a little bit better creative, better angles and stuff like that. And so like, for example, we have a client, they sell eyewear and stuff, and they always do like the same discount every month. And so one of the things that we're doing on the creative side of things is, instead of saying, hey, get 20% off on this, glasses and stuff, it's more like, okay, it happens to be at the end of this recording is like at the end of fall, the last week of September is the first full week of fall. And so saying get 20% off, it's like, get a fresh new look, here's 20% off, and that's a new way, a new lead, at least what they call in direct response to test, versus just the same old 20% off, discount coupons. So those are definitely the three by far the biggest things I've seen. And honestly, that's 80% of it when it comes to email marketing in general. Just send enough emails, test new creative. A lot of brands do not like to test at all. They like to stay very milquetoast, like, whatever, like and stuff like that. And I guess one more thing I could add is that, especially for premium price products, not enough brands do enough teaching to sell a premium price product. They just say our product happens to be 2-3 times more than the competitors' products, and they'll do a little quick summary of like, has this ingredient, that ingredient, but they don't take the time to really educate you about why their product is superior, right? You should be sending one email a month or have flows or something that teaches you our product versus competitor products. What's our manufacturing process? How come our ingredient comes from like this weird exotic location in Asia or something, and up level the brand, up level the product in of itself to actually sell it. And so those are 4 things in general, but yeah, those are definitely by far the biggest things that I've seen.
That's great. Wow. You just summed it up right there at the end. That's perfect. So is there anything, before we go, is there anything else you want people to know that are looking into getting better at copywriting, what they should do, where they should go right now? And then I'll have you just plug yourself. Of course, they should go to check out you, but what else should they do if they really want to get into this copywriting or email marketing or whatever that looks like? Where should they go?
Yeah. So when it comes to like knowing the principles of direct response copywriting, like if you do the Copy Monk challenge I said earlier, you'll get there. But the most important parts of that challenge is understanding something called market sophistication, which you'll learn in a book called Breakthrough Advertising. The quick summary of that is that there's 5 levels of market sophistication, which basically means like the more competitive a market gets, the more jaded customers get, and you have to change your messaging to fit, to be believable to these people. So like you're selling supplements, if you say you are hey, take our protein powder and it'll help you build muscle, like that is not a winning message at all. And now today, if you say, like say before there was pea protein powder, but there was only like whey or whatever, and you were the first one to come with with pea protein, you're just saying, okay, we sell the world's first pea protein powder. Now all of a sudden your thing becomes compelling to that market, because the supplement market is extremely competitive and extremely jaded. And so Breakthrough Advertising, learn the 5 levels of market sophistication quickly. Market sophistication level 1, make a claim, hey, we sell protein powder. Market sophistication level 2, make a bigger claim, hey, build 10 pounds of muscle with protein powder. Market sophistication level 3 is going with a unique mechanism, hey, we sell pea protein powder. Market sophistication level 4, sell a bigger version of that unique mechanism, hey, our RP protein powder has 20 grams of protein instead of 18 grams of protein or whatever. And then market sophistication level 5, also known as the dead market, you forget about all their product and then you sell people on the identification, like, hey, this is for bodybuilders, hey, this is for CrossFitters and stuff like that. And then beyond that, when it comes to copywriting, also in the same challenge from the book Great Leads, you want to understand the stages of awareness. Unaware meaning there's like 5 stages of awareness, was actually part of the market sophistication stuff. Unaware people who have never heard of your product before, or even know they have a problem, right? Rarely you'll go after these people, but it's good to know what to do when you're dealing with these people. 2 is problem aware. People do have know the problem, but they not much more other than that. 3 is solution aware, meaning now they're looking for different types of solutions. 4 is product aware. Now they know about your product, your particular solution, but they need to know why your product versus the other competitors in your market. And then the very aware, which is almost what you see primarily in e-commerce, which is very aware. This means like, hey, here's the deal, here's the discount, right? Whatever. And so knowing market sophistication and market and stages of awareness, those 2 things form the foundation of all direct response copywriting. And even if you never write long form copy in your life, it's still, again, even if you only write 2 sentences of copy for email, it's still super important to understand those 2 things to be able to write that copy. And so, and again, when at least specifically when it comes to email marketing, just look at what other people do, and then you take your lessons of market sophistication, stage of awareness, and angles to do those things. And if you want to learn, like the hard part about creative stuff is the creativity part, obviously. But the good thing about copywriting is that it's not creative in like the way Harry Potter is creative. All direct response copywriting, the creativity behind it comes down to you being able to connect 2 different ideas. So kind of like what Subway did. They're a fast food joint, but they took everything from the weight loss space, from the hardcore infomercial space of weight loss to their sandwiches and stuff, and they were able to position themselves as like the healthy fast food joint, basically. And so you got to do the same thing. Again, part of the copywriting challenge is to learn, look what other infomercials are doing, look at what the direct to mail is doing, look at what people did 100 years ago, 50 years ago, stuff like that. And look what other markets are doing, not just your particular market, especially adjacent markets. Like if you sell skincare, look at what supplements are doing. If you sell, I don't know what shoes, what shoe companies are like streetwear is doing. Look at what hat companies are doing, stuff like that. And so, basically that. And that's, if you do that thing, you'll learn direct response really, really fast, and really more, honestly, even more than you would need to know for e-commerce specifically.
That's great, man. Perfect. All right. Plug yourself. Where can people find you?
Got it. So I got a couple of things. One, if you want to be an e-commerce email marketing client of mine, you can go to supply-drop-media.com. And yeah, we basically do full service email marketing for you. We'll take over everything, and then you just get paid basically. And then the second thing, I also I have a site called Danavir.com. Here's basically where I kind of like document whatever I'm doing with my with the upcoming direct consumer brand I'm working on, which is a men's grooming brand. So I'm kind of working on that, and then lessons or direct response lessons in general, I'll document it into the weekly newsletter at Danavir.com. And so yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for hopping on, and thanks for your time. I hope this is helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here, man.
If you like that video, do one thing for me. Go into the comments on YouTube or go on Twitter and tell me who I should interview next, because I want to, not my wife. This has to do with marketing, TJ. But that might be cool sometime. Unrelated to marketing. Anyways, go do that. Bye.